Hey, 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 everybody. Hey, 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 hey. All right. So, this is crazy. This new Facebook platform is so ridiculous. Hi, Tanisha. So, this evening, I'm getting ready to start a watch party so I can invite people on my personal page, right? But okay. So here it goes. First and foremost, y'all already know who it is. It's your girl Lily Mae. I don't have to keep telling you that over and over and over. When I come, y'all know I'm here, right? Okay. So now that we got all of that out of the way, so basically, I posed. Well, first backstory. Y'all know I always gotta get the backstory. So today, me and my homegirl was having a conversation. Shout out to Holmes. And we were just talking about 21st century dating trends. And we were pretty much talking about the fact that, you know, for us, personally, for us growing up, and growing up with older parents, things were a little bit different because, in essence, we always heard the term coating. Now, see, if you're not country for real, you don't know what coating is. Well, anyway, one of the things that we were discussing is the fact that now it's hard. It's really hard to date because so many people don't understand that concept, right? So what I'm gonna do this evening is I posed a question today and I asked a couple of people to respond. I said, okay, so um define or describe what you foresee these things to mean. And so what I'm gonna do, as soon as I get this little watch party started, I'm gonna go ahead and start the conversation. So bear with me for a second. Let me get a couple of people on here. And then we'll kind of, you know, keep it moving. All right, so as you can see, it says all things authentic, and we're gonna define single, because you know we double up everything. Single, single and dating, and then we're gonna talk. I mean, no, single, dating, and then courting. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna address from my perspective, okay? I'm addressing them from my perspective. So if you disagree, that is absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine if you disagree. But just understand, I'm talking about these things from my perspective, okay? All right. So I feel like if you're single, what that simply means is you're not, seeing anyone. Um, you're really just chilling, you're focusing on you. To me, when you're single, I'm not talking about in the realm of marriage because a lot of people feel like you're single until you're married. And if that is your position, that's fine. But I think when we think about 21st century dating trends, it's important for us to really think about this thing as it is. And so for me, if I ask someone, so are you single? What's up? If you tell me you're single, that means just that. You're single and you're not dating. You may be talking to people, but that's the other thing. Dating and talking to people are two different things. And I think that because we all have different perceptions and perspectives and views relative to this, that's what's making it so hard in the 21st century. So for me, if you're single, that simply means you may be having, conversations with this person, that person, whatever, but there's no intent to pursue anything that you know of, right? So then we come to this concept of dating, all right? And so when I think about this concept of dating, that's when it gets a little bit different. So a lot of times people want to say, okay, I'm dating multiple people or I'm dating exclusively. I guess, and once again, whatever works for you, right? But I think what needs to happen is a conversation needs to occur on both sides of the track. And I think that these conversations need to occur in the beginning because what happens is you begin to progress into situations where you might be single, person A might be single, but person B might be dating. That's a situationship. Because out of 9 times out of 10, person A who is single isn't gonna necessarily check person B and say, hey, whoa. They're gonna go with the flow. And that's how you end up with situationships, but I'm not going there today. So I feel like when you're dating is a process. Dating means you're going out places, you're trying to see not just what your vibe is like with one another, you're also trying to figure out what your vibe is like when you're out in the world. Because let me tell you something. Some people are perfect in the house. Some people are perfect in the house. But baby, you get them outside and they act a whole entire monkey. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my thing would be is to make sure or make certain that in your dating process, you have a conversation with that person up front regarding what it is that you're planning to do, how you're planning to do it, and things of that nature. All right, coding. Y'all know I'm country. Y'all didn't know me, know where I'm from. Coding. That's what I always heard my mom and dad talk about, coding. And so, well, okay, for you proper individuals, courting. So, courting that's intentional, baby. Courting is intentional. And that courting process generally requires a lot of conversation, but it also requires a lot of effective reciprocated communication. And what that means is it means an exchange. It means that one person speaks, the other person listens. That person listens and processes, and then the cycle goes on and on and on. A lot of times, I think for me, people communicate in dating, but when you're courting someone, you're communicating and comprehending. So I think the difference between dating and courting is that in dating, you're just trying to be understood. But when you're courting, you're seeking first to understand before being understood. So it's like a partnership, right? Covey. Um, so yeah, so I think that when we talk about the whole single versus dating versus courting, I think that if we remove, this is the other part, and I'm gonna be straight raw with y'all. If we remove the sex, notice I did not say intimacy. If we remove the sex from the equation completely, I think a lot of us would find that the people that we're talking to or the people that we're dating don't really have much else to offer. I do. And I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna be as transparent as possible without putting anybody on blast. The reality is that if you remove the sex from the equation, a lot of times the people that we are talking to or the people that we are dating do not have anything to offer outside of that. So we go back to 21st century dating trends. Then we have to start thinking about the fact that why is it that people aren't courting anymore? Is it because social media platforms has made it easy to fall in love with the depiction of a person? Possibly. But I think that the other part of it is we have to step back and really ask ourselves, what exactly is it that we look for in a partner, right? Of course, no one wants to deal with an ooga booga. You want to wake up beside somebody that you can roll over and be like, oh, okay. But I think we've gotten to a place where social media allows us to filter our lives. It allows us to filter our physical makeup. It even allows us to filter us, right? So we can post, we can filter ourselves to the point where people would think we are whole and together and we are really jacked up, right? So I think that one of the things I would say is this. Whether you're single, dating, or courting, make sure that you have intentional conversations across the board, right? If you're single, and you know that you have no intentions of pursuing an individual past the sheets, have that conversation up front. It takes balls. I'm trying to tell you, it takes balls. And one thing about it, what I'm finding, more females are forthcoming with, look, I just want to smash them males. For some reason, in the 21st century, a lot of gentlemen feel the need to finesse their way into the draws. You really don't have to do that anymore. There are a lot of Instagram models who are just waiting for you to slide into their DMs and then slide into their kitty cat. Oh, wow. Okay, Kia. So let me take a comment real quick. Y'all know I can't see, so let me get close. So Kia Reed said, that's a good point. We also have to reflect on what we are offering besides the physical. Are we focusing on giving or receiving? Are we really allowing ourselves to be vulnerable? To both of your points about sex and social media, Kia, absolutely. Kia, I agree with you 100%. And I would love to bring you on. So if you would DM me, I would love to have a conversation with you, and we could StreamYard and have this conversation, because that's brilliant information. So guys, I don't want to be long because y'all know I can get long-winded, but I definitely wanted you to understand that I posed that question earlier because me and my friend were having a conversation. But for me, I posed that question because I reflect on these things day in and day out. And my reflection is simply because in the past year, I found myself in a couple of situationships that I should have never even been connected to. I should have never even been connected to. And what I had to figure out is, why do why? Why do I engage in these situations? And what I found was that I have all of these things going on, right? And I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. And I'm engaging with people, and I'm convening with people, and I'm dining with people. But the people that I convene with and engage with on a daily basis aren't necessarily the people that I'm attracted to. Now, 9 times out of 10, they probably should be the people that I'm attracted to, but I'm not, right? Because I have to do business with these people, right? And so I was always taught, you don't shit where you sleep. However, what I am learning is that even in the dating process, right, you have to screen. You have to pre-screen, just like it's a job interview, baby. You know, when you go to fill out an application and you do the pre-screening, check this out. When you're single, and you're talking to someone, that is your pre-screen process. When you're single, and you're talking to someone, that is your pre-screening process. All right. Once you pre-screen, you start to pull out the applications that work for you. And the thing is, if your pre-screening process is 5 questions, in my practice, and what I've seen other people do, and I'm really talking about the HR process. I'm not talking about, okay, I got all these questions. If you don't get 3.5 or 4 out of 5, you don't make the cut. So you don't transition from talking to dating. And I think what happens is we give people passes based off of good faith. And I think we have to stop giving people passes based off of good faith. And I'm guilty. I can only speak to you for what I know I do. So with that being stated, one of the things that I want you to think about is, I want you to think about, what your pre-screening process looks like, right? So for me, it's a little bit different because I tell people all the time, growing up with older parents, it was a lot different hearing about dating. Like, when I talk to my mom and be like, hey, mom, I met such and such and this. And my mom, like, what? She said, girl, back in my day, she said, when your dad was trying to pursue me, and this is how interesting it is because my mom and my dad were 10 years apart, right? So my dad was born in the late 20s and my mom was born in the late 30s. So one of the interesting things that I remember her saying is that when my dad was pursuing her, he asked her, did she have a friend? Now, today, we classify everybody as our friend. We could be screwing the hell out of them, but we're going to say, oh, that's my friend. So the reality is that back in the day, if you told somebody you had a friend, the person pursuing you cut that off. So my dad asked my mom, do you have a friend? My mom said, yeah, I got a whole lot of friends. My dad cut that off. Luckily, my mother's best friend, who ironically was my dad's former sister-in-law, he asked her about my mom, like, what's up with your friend? This. Is she seeing anybody? See, he changed it though. He did use the word friend, but he was asking my auntie, was she, dating anybody? And my auntie was like, nah, Bo, she ain't dating nobody. When I asked her, did she have a friend? And she said, yeah. And see, this is where interpretation comes from. This is why effective communication and comprehension is so important. Because my mom saying that she had a friend meant simply that. She had a lot of guy friends that she hang out with because my mom, anybody that know my mother knows she is a sports fanatic. My mother knows the playbook for basketball, football, baseball, golf, all sports. So when he asked her, did she have a friend? She's like, yeah, I got friends. Consequently, when he went back to her, he asked her, was she seeing anybody? And her answer to him was no, right? And to be honest, guys, it didn't take him 10 years to figure out that that was the woman he was going to marry. I think, now I don't know because I wasn't born, me and Linwood were not born, but I think that they probably only dated a year. He married her. A couple of years later, Linwood came. 4.5 years later, I came. But he courted her. He courted her because he went through the pre-screening process when he asked her, did she have a friend? And then he went to get verification from her friend. And it's so ironic because this day and time, if we go and research y'all think we crazy. But back in the day, people came with letters of verification. And the reality is that I think what people fail to realize is that your word is all you have. Your word is all you have. So you have to make certain that you are being honest and upfront at all times. And I think when we talk about whether one is single, dating, or courting, I think we truly have to start thinking about how you were raised, the generation that you grew up in, and how submerged in that culture or removed from that culture you are. So my personal belief is this. If you're single, you're free to do whatever, right? If you're dating, you have to decide what type of dating you're doing, right? Are you dating and screwing everybody? Are you dating and getting to know everybody? Or are you dating someone exclusively? And then finally, if you're courting, you have to truly understand that courting is intentional. And with courting, you begin with the end in mind. All right, y'all. It's real. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I didn't want this to be really, really, really long. What I'll do is I'm going to go back and read some of the comments and I'll address them in the live by myself. But have a good night, everyone.